Day to all of you from Don Bosco School of Excellence, Coimbatore. We are very happy and honored to celebrate our patron on his feast day. A man with a vision, awareness of good that lives in people, with the ability of dreaming dreams of beauty for those he met along his way. Yes, this is John Bosco. Saint John Bosco, as all saints of the church, he has mediated in this world the presence of Christ to the multitude of people during his lifetime and most particularly to the youth of his place. He dedicated his life in uniting the children to God. His name became Don Bosco as the Italian call their priest as Don as we call a priest as father. Today we are happy to share our joy with every one of you with the wishes and blessings of a patron saint. As a part of the celebration, we the students of Don Bosco School of Excellence have come forward to present you with a token of our love to our beloved saint of youth.
We thank you, O Lord, for Don Bosco. In him we see the wonders of your love. You filled him with gifts of nature and of grace to lead young people to their home above. He was a man profoundly human, open to the signs of the time. And yet he was a man of God. We thank you, O Lord, for Don Bosco. In him we see the wonders of your love. You filled him with gifts of nature and of grace to lead young people to their home above. Enable us to be his doubles, faithful to the service of you, overcoming hardship with firmness, with hearts filled with your love. We thank you, O Lord, for Don Bosco. In him we see the wonders of your love. You filled him with gifts of nature and of grace to lead young people to their home above. To lead young people to their home above.
I'm John Bosco. My golden words are, it is not enough to love the children. They must know that they are loved. Thank you.
My dear children, enjoy yourself as much as you like if only you keep from sin. Thank you.
Whatever you do, think of the glory of God as your main goal. Then words of Don Bosco. Don't try to excuse your faults. Try to correct them. Thank you.
Walk with your feet on earth, but in your heart be in heaven, said Saint John Bosco, a 19th century Italian priest who reached out to young people to remedy the lack of education, opportunities, and faith. He flaunted a fully human life. As a priest and follower of God, he showed people how to walk the path of God. He lived faith, courage, compassion, and reverence for human life. We take pride and we are proud to say that we are the students of Don Bosco. Here we have a students of grade 5 to share with you the early life of our dear Saint Don
Saint John Bosco, also known as Don Bosco, was born on August 16, 1815, in a farm located in the hills of Becci, at the bottom of the Italian Alps. The young Don Bosco was born into a poor, humble family that depended on farming. His parents were Francis Bosco and Margaret, and his two brothers, Joseph and Anthony. Just 2 years after his birth, the tragic death of his father left Margaret in charge of raising the three boys by herself. Since a very young age, he and his brothers experienced the hardships of poverty after losing their father. Margaret, a woman of courage and faith, taught the boys that work was a privilege, and so they had to take responsibility and carry out chores such as firewood to cut and collect, fields to work on, and sacrifices that had to be made in order to keep their home and farm.
At a very young age, the future saint knew God called him to serve youth. When he was just 9 years old, he was inspired by a dream that would change his life forever. He saw very poor boys fighting and cursing among each other. Suddenly, a man of majestic appearance emerged and told him, "With meekness and charity, you will conquer these friends." The boys then turned into the wild animals that they had been acting like. Once again, the man then told John that the field was John's life's work, and that once John changed and grew in humility and faithfulness, he would see a change in the children, a change that the man then demonstrated in the dream. The wild animals suddenly changed into gentle lambs. A lady just as majestic appeared and added, "Make yourself humble, strong and steadfast. At the right time you will understand everything."
Ever since that dream, he knew it was his destiny to become a priest and would dedicate himself to assist poor youth. But in order to fulfill his dream, he had to leave home and assist the city school where he would walk for hours to receive an education. One of John's favorite hobbies was to watch traveling performers and jungle or walk the tightrope. Over time, he saw this was an opportunity and learned all these tricks as well as catch the attention of kids. Soon after, he started his own shows. Kids and neighbors would gather around to enjoy his performance. By the end of the show, the young Bosco didn't want to receive money, but instead would recite a Hail Mary and ask everyone to join him in prayer. Yes, that's how our young John Bosco became close to the youth and had become a great inspiration for everyone. Thank you.
We are the children of Don Bosco. Let us trumpet loud.
Bienvenido, gran amigo de todos los jóvenes, ejemplar, muy querido. Queremos seguir tu camino, San Bosco. Bienvenido, gran amigo de todos los jóvenes, ejemplar, muy querido. Queremos seguir tu camino, tu enseñanza vida nos da, tu alegría y tu amistad. Eres tú, eres tú, eres tú, el que nos lleva a Jesús.
John Bosco's ministry began on June 5, 1841. John was ordained to the priesthood in Turin. He celebrated his first Mass in the Church of St. Francis of Assisi. With ordination came to the release of a powerful spiritual energy to exert the lasting influence on modern youth. On the feast of Mary Immaculate, December 8, 1841, a poor young boy, Bartholomew Garelli, was shouted at trying to sneak inside the church. Don Bosco befriended him and asked him to bring his friends for the following weeks. Thus, his service for the poor young boy started.
Wandering or attic. In the 1840s, the slums of Tehran were overrun by the poverty. Don Bosco visited the prisons, came across many young boys. He was reminded of this conviction of his vacation, which was to take care of the boys before they fall into crime. With his heart full of trust in his lady and his pockets empty, Don Bosco courageously took up the work. From then on, it was only "Give me souls," the souls of young people. Don Bosco called his weekly band of ragged people the Oratory. Every Sunday they would meet in a different place, a city church, a cemetery chapel, or an empty lot. Don Bosco would hear their confessions and say Mass for them. In 1846, Don Bosco bought an empty lot and dilapidated shed in an underdeveloped section of Tehran called Voldaco. It was a burial ground of martyrs of Tehran. With a roof over his head, Don Bosco knew that his lady had set a permanent basis of his work. The location of the shed chapel can still be seen today, the tiny nucleus of the worldwide organization that began in poverty with Our Lady's blessings. Thank you.
The orphanage. Many homeless children were sheltered by Don Bosco. This project has started by a poor little boy in 1850. One night, a poor little boy knocked at their door. When Mama grated open, he begged to be let in. The poor little boy was offered with a hot soup bowl, which was delirious. Don Bosco decided that the boy will stay with them. He jokingly said that it is necessary they would link a basket for selling of his bed. It made the little boy laugh too. Thank you.
Good morning everyone, this is Mritul from Don Bosco 7B, the trade school. Don Bosco had bought the house joining the shelter to shelter more orphans. The boarders used to go to work or realize in Turkey each day, returning home to Don Bosco and Mama Margaret's for meal. Don Bosco soon realized that he had to have a school of his own. One day in 1853, he took a corner of Mama Margaret's kitchen and converted it into a cobbler shop. The tiny hallway became a carpenter shop. Now there was really no quiet place at the oratory with all banging of hammers, but in the mildest of all the rumpus was born the Don Bosco Trade School. Today, the congregation of Don Bosco operates professional training center and college preparatory school throughout the world, both in highly developed countries and in many undeveloped countries. Thank you.
Dear students, wish you all a very happy feast of Don Bosco. As you're fully aware, our school is run and managed according to the spirit of Don Bosco's education system. Don Bosco during his time insisted on two important elements of his system. One, optimism, and the other one is loving kindness. Optimism is that we are supposed to be happy because we are created by God and we believe that God will take care of us. And so we need to be always optimistic in our approach. And the second one is loving kindness. The loving kindness is supposed to be experienced in every Don Bosco campus. And we in our campus provide the loving kindness. And you in turn will express this loving kindness among your friends, with your family members, and with your neighbors. This is the personal wish of Don Bosco, and he always insisted on all Don Bosco institutions. And this is also my personal wish during this feast of Don Bosco. So I wish once again you all a very happy feast and have a nice time.
I'm Don Bosco, the son of God. I was born as John Bosco on 16th August 1815 in Becci, Italy. My mother, Margherita Oceana, played a strong role on my formation and personality. She taught me what is faith and to live according to the Gospels. As a child, I had a strange dream which I can't infer, but I later did. I went through lots of hardship, but Jesus and my lady guided me and helped me to ordain as a priest. I had a powerful spiritual energy to exceed a lasting influence on modern youth. I vowed my life to God and service. I rebuilt the lives of countless youth. Till my last breath, I served my cause. My legacy is spread all over the world. I am happy that my ideals and systems of education are followed by Don Bosco School of Excellence, Coimbatore.
To prevent system, Don Bosco school name became famous, secure priest. Came to help him, they too came from a different section of Italy. They soon realized that Don Bosco had an education system of own, which is called the prevent system. Essentially, it means to prevent a boy from a bad. It's based on Christian charity. Its double foundation is a reason and religion. In other words, a sense of understanding between teachers and students engendered by a daily contact, friendly chat, and an interest that is felt and secondary. A sense of a religion fostered by the sacrament of a confection of a holy communion. According to that strain, where other system of education were failed. It's a system of kind, understanding, and mainly censored religion has a more than structured. The system does not conduct the errors. Instead, it uses the stepping stones, the formation of a soil character permitted by Christian principle of Christian characters.
Don Bosco, a man of action. First tell the devil to rest, and then I will rest too. Don Bosco used to tell to those who urged him to let up in his activity. First, he was trained to be a laborer from his boyhood. He occupied himself with boys, constantly interesting himself in their activities. For many years, he slept only 5 hours of night. After a day of physical work, he spent the quiet hours of night penning letters to his friends for aid, sending letters of comfort to all those who begged for his prayers, writing down books on mathematics, literature, the Bible, church history for boys. He even started a pamphlet series, The Catholic Reading. He sometimes wrote a pamphlet a month on the Catholic faith and morals. Even when the age began creeping upon him, he didn't stop working. His mind was crystal clear. He never laid the burden down. Even though he was urged by his personal friend Pius IX to rest, he would answer, "When I have time, I must work."
While at prayer one time, Don Bosco was interrupted by the visit of a wealthy noble. "Tell him I'll be there soon," he said, and he continued his prayers. 3 times he was called. Finally, he went. He said, "My dear sir, you are a good friend of mine, but God comes first." He also used to repeat, "First of all, Don Bosco is a priest." With such a marvelous sense of values, he was able to temper his activity with deep, ceaseless, and fervent piety. In fact, the energy of his work came from this carefully tended fire of prayer in his soul. And God rewarded him in a wonderful way. Toward the end of his life, his prayers wrought miracles. His blessing carried astonishing powers. Sometimes he was seen rising in ecstasy during Mass. But with characteristic humility, he labored to feed his ministry with prayer, so much so that Pope Pius XI said of him that he prayed every moment of. When Don Bosco planned to build a basilica in Mary's honor in Turin, he drew up the plans and called an architect to start the excavations. He handed 8 cents to the astonished man. He said, "Mary will build her own basilica." This was the characteristic of Don Bosco. He was living in personal poverty while spending millions for God. Yet this impoverished priest, who lived in the coarsest of foods and wore the poorest garments which was often borrowed, spent millions for his boys, opened schools, built one basilica to Mary in Turin and another to the Sacred Heart in Rome, and financed great mission expeditions. The faith that God would provide worked miracles in his life.
Greetings everyone, I'm Jabamala of Grade 9 here to share about Don Bosco's holiness. Don Bosco's generosity of spirit did not go unrewarded by God. God gave him the gift of miracles. With his blessing, Don Bosco cured people's disease. After his prayers, the deaf heard, the lame walked, and once a dead boy was raised to life. He had the gift of prophecy. He could read consciences and used this gift to assist penitents in confession. He could foretell one's occasion as well as one's future. Don Bosco often told his young people that being a saint was easy. His holiness was attractive because it was rooted in charity and exponential purity that drew people to him. Though he sometimes did extraordinary penances, he would never allow them to his boys. Sanctity is easy, he would say. He told his Salesians and the young people that God wants us all to be happy and to rejoice in the love of Jesus. Saint Dominic Savio, one of his students who died at the age of 14, is Don Bosco's proof to the world that holiness is not a monopoly of the monastery or of the desert. The last years were difficult for him. He was old and tired, but he kept up with all the activities of his Salesians. He took to his bed in December of 1887. Just before his death, he summoned his sons and begged the favor of their prayers. Don't ever forget these 3 things: devotion to the Blessed Sacrament, devotion to the Mary, help of Christians, and devotion to the Holy Father. On January 31st, 1888, Don Bosco's worn out body finally yielded to nature. With the names of Jesus and Mary on his lips, Don Bosco's soul passed to his God and his Lady. Don Bosco left a legacy. His idols, his spirits, his constant activity are still with us. On Easter Sunday, April 1st, 1934, Pope Pius XI declared Don Bosco a saint. Pope styled him a giant of sanctity. Thank you.
dear fathers, teachers, and my dear friends. This is Adora Carmel Wilfred of grade 7. Today, I am going to give a talk on Don Bosco's role in youth. Saint Don Bosco, founder of the Salesian family, is a beacon star of education, especially of the youth. Don Bosco's life as a friend and father of youth was during the Industrial Revolution. John Bosco brought together all the young people who were astray due to the perils of an industrialized society and trained them at the oratory. According to Don Bosco, youth need to have a supportive environment to let go all the previous shortcomings and grow. He coined the term preventive system of education. According to this system, young people need to have access to education, an environment to learn, and opportunities to perform and grow in life. These threesome aspects will keep all the negativity at the bay and thus prevent them from harming themselves and others. Don Bosco also encouraged people to play and move amongst nature. St. John Bosco's preventive system precisely addresses the correction of forms of evil such as moral vices and defects that damage the correct and healthy development of the intelligence, the will, and the supernatural life, keeping in mind that joy is the most proper atmosphere for education. Don Bosco's preventive system relies on three fundamental principles: kindness, religion, and reason. Kindness means a fundamental respect for the youngsters by which they feel they are loved. On St. John Bosco's own words, the primary happiness of a child is in knowing that they are loved. The young must not only be loved, but they must know they are loved. Reason. Reason consists essentially in disposing the students to obey not from fear or compulsion, but from persuasion. The rules need to be explained clear, patiently, and exemplified in practical and engaging ways. Religion addresses the most spiritual development of the students. Prayer, devotions, and frequent reception of the sacraments are fundamental tools to be used in education, strengthening the will and building of a solid moral character. St. Don Bosco appealed to the youth to remember that education is a matter of heart of which God is a sole master, and we will be unable to achieve anything unless God teaches us and puts the key in our hands. He is honored by us as an outstanding teacher to the children and father to the youth, and we pray that we also be filled with the same love like him. Once again, I wish you all a happy feast of our patron Saint Don Bosco. Thank you.